Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Mr. Fitness, the body transformation specialist, and welcome back for another awesome episode of Weight Loss Warriors. On today's episode, we're going to be speaking to Sally. So Sally has an absolutely awesome story that she is going to be sharing with us today. Sally's going to be talking about everything, where she's been, where she's at right now, where she's looking to go, and everything in between. So if you're new to Weight Loss Warriors, you're probably asking yourself, A, what is Weight Loss Warriors? And B, is it for me? So on Weight Loss Warriors, we're here to inspire, to encourage, and to motivate you that you too can do it. You see, there's nothing special about Sally. Okay, right? Sally has just taken action. And oftentimes that's the biggest difference between people that are successful and people that aren't, is action. So if you're starting a journey and you don't quite know what to do, today you're going to learn some things that can get you started on your journey. But if you already started a journey and maybe you've hit a plateau, then you're going to learn some things that will help you break through that plateau and get back on the road to success. So get ready for Sally's story. But before we get to Sally and her awesome story, if you've missed any of the previous episodes of Weight Loss Warriors, you can go on over to youtube.com/fitnessmotivation, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2. That's fitnessmotivation4u2. There you're going to find every episode of Weight Loss Warriors, plus some other great content. And while you're there, consider subscribing and hit that bell notification so you never miss another episode. Now, if you have a weight loss story that you'd like to share and you'd like to do it here on Weight Loss Warriors and you're watching this live, go ahead and DM me and let's talk. But if you're watching this on the rebroadcast on YouTube, then down below in the description, there's going to be a link where you can reach out and let's talk about getting you on one of the future episodes of Weight Loss Warriors. Last but not least, before we get Sally on the show so she can talk about her awesome story, if you're starting a journey and you don't know what to do, I would love to be your coach. So what I want to do is give you a free 30 days to my online fitness and nutritional coaching program. There I'm going to create your workouts. I'm going to teach you how to eat for maximum results. And I'm going to hold you accountable for accomplishing your goals. So with that being said, we are going to get Sally on the live so she can share her story with you and the world. So let's see if we can get her on. Sally should be coming on in just a few minutes. Let's see.
Hi.
There she is. What's going on, Sally?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. So today is all about you. We are here to hear your story and what you've accomplished. And again, so you can motivate people to do the same. So I don't want to waste no time. I want to get right into you and your story. So what was your highest weight? Where are you at right now? And what is your goal weight?
My highest weight was 402 pounds. My current weight is approximately 322.
Okay.
And my goal weight is probably sitting right now at about 175.
All right. So you've come quite a way. And how long did it take you to get from your highest weight to where you're at right now?
I started in January of 2018. So we're in April, so approximately 15 months.
Wow. Okay. So that's not that much time at all. In the grand scheme of things, you've gotten pretty good results in quite a short amount of time. How does it feel now that you've come this far and to know that it's possible to get to where you want to be?
It feels amazing, honestly. When I started this journey, I was so scared that I was going to fail because I had tried so many times before. And even a year in, I was so scared. I would have these kind of anxiety attacks with my friends and my husband, like, what if I fall off the wagon? You know, what if I just stop doing everything and gain it all back? And my husband, Mark, was very adamant that he would never let that happen. He would never let me fail on this journey. because he
Yeah,
wants me alive forever. So,
exactly.
um,
I'm sure you guys got a lot of things you want to accomplish in your lives, and so this is a
mhm.
huge part of accomplishing those things.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a huge accomplishment. I mean, right now I'm sitting in size 18 pants and
Hmm.
an extra large shirt, which I can't even remember the last time I ever wore a size 18 in pants,
Hmm.
even in high school.
Yeah, and that must feel great knowing that this is like, I mean, when you think about it, you've lost like a whole person, just about.
Just about, and that's kind of something sad that you do think about as I look at my friends that are, 125 pounds. I'm like, yeah, about three or four, you probably make up one of me if you kind of want to sit and play math with it. But the other day I sat there and thought, you know what? I've lost a small person so
Yeah,
far.
yeah. So when we talked, you said that you lost your father in your early 20s, and you said he
Hmm.
suffered from diabetes. So
Hmm.
do you think that his health issues or concerns played any role in you being overweight?
His health condition definitely. He was diagnosed with diabetes in his 40s, late
Mhm.
30s, early 40s. And as much as he tried to control it, diabetes can be a really aggressive disease. And
Yeah.
so it's something that if you are not closely modifying your diet, if you're not walking, if you're not combining your lifestyle and exercise together, it will get you. And it got him in under 20 years,
Yeah.
which is something that it resonates with me when my mom and I talk about it, because sometimes we just, she reminisces and thinks the doctors would just tell him if he had just walked 30 minutes a day.
Hmm.
If you just got that cardio in of 30 minutes a day, it would have made a huge difference.
Yeah.
And, he was a professor, he walked, but he was so busy, it gets really difficult. And I get it, to incorporate that exercise lifestyle into a really busy lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was definitely a lesson for me.
Yeah. And I think for people that don't know as much about my story, I'm also a type 1 diabetic. So I
Mm.
understand the magnitude of the disease and the fact that you can live a extremely healthy life with diabetes. And I think that's almost the gift and the curse of the disease, is that you can live a normal life for the most part. And a lot of these health concerns that happen with diabetes and diabetics don't happen till later on in life. So they kind of creep up on you if you're not monitoring your blood sugar and if you're not taking your medication and all of those things. So, I'm sure that in some way that had to, at least seeing what he went through, motivate you to not go down that same path.
Definitely.
Okay.
It definitely scared me to see the
Hmm.
effects of what could happen if you're not, of how that disease can definitely ravage your body.
Yeah. So you also said that you grew up in one of the most obese areas in the country. Now, that's a pretty big statement, no pun intended, but that's a pretty big statement. Now, is that statistically, or you just believe that because of your environment and you've seen so many overweight people?
Oh, no, this is you can look it up. I mean, this was in
Wow.
the news a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was an article based upon, I can't remember who came up with it, but it was a major news source that stated, the most obese areas in the United States, and the Rio Grande Valley fell into the number one category. Um, we like to eat, we like to eat down there.
Okay.
We cook with a lot of lard, and
Uh-huh.
carbs are big,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it, it's part of our culture. And so, if you're not careful, you can definitely fall into that trap.
Yeah. So how do you think your environment, your upbringing, your what do you think that role that played in you growing up being overweight?
I just don't think that there was enough education. I mean, I feel like now when I go down there to visit, I see a lot more healthy alternative restaurants and products that are on the shelves. But when I was growing up, that just was not the situation. We growing up, my parents and I, we didn't understand it. We didn't know. I mean, I drank sodas straight across from the border. We were in Mexico, at least once or twice a month, and that's where we get a lot of our groceries. We get our sodas. It just, you just never kind of paired it that you were eating wrong. Sometimes I knew as when I was in my, especially teen years, maybe I shouldn't be eating all this food, but I really do feel like if you're not caught young enough, you start growing into this mindset and lifestyle of eating and eating and eating, and not knowing to eat what's healthy for your body, what's right for your body. Because either I ate too much or I tried to starve myself, just trying to live off lettuce and water and finding that was always going to be a disaster.
Yeah. So what do you say to someone that might be, because I know you had a pretty strong support system with your husband, and I know that you said that you'd gotten married and you had gotten quote unquote happy fat. And
yes.
Yeah, and that, you had lost 60 pounds, but it had come right back. And you told your husband, you were going to get on this health journey, so what role do you believe that support system of your husband being supportive of you, what role do you think that played in your success up to this point?
I think it's played an important, crucial role. I mean, I don't believe that I would have been as successful if Mark had not jumped on board and said, okay, we're doing keto. Okay, we're going to go sign up for the gym together. We go together. Mm-hmm. I do feel like if you are in a partnership and your partner is not on board with you, it is destined to fail. Yeah. Because there will be way too much temptation. They will try to tempt you. Or, I see a lot of comments, a lot of DMs that come to me that say, but my husband, my kids, they want potatoes and they want pizza and they want bread. And I don't know what to do because they don't want to eat when I want to eat. And the one thing I believe, especially with the lifestyle, the keto lifestyle that I've chosen, is that it is a lifestyle that everybody can appreciate and enjoy. Mm-hmm. And you have to have that conversation with your partner. Do you want me to die, or are you joining with me? You must support me, for better, for worse. We took our vows. And if you just don't have that support, it's just going to be almost impossible to be successful.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this are in relationships that are not geared towards them getting the best results. So what would you, if you were sitting down with those couples and you were counseling them on how to get them both on the same page, what would your advice to them be?
My advice to them would be, how long do you want your partner to be alive with you? Mm-hmm. Because being extremely obese, being morbidly obese, is just a death sentence, and you're just waiting. Mm-hmm. And if you're ready to just go ahead and start preparing the funeral, then by all means. If you feel like food is just way too important, by all means, keep tracking down that path, because that's exactly where you're going to end up, is 6 feet under. And that's where your partner's going to end up.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, it's just tough love.
Yeah. And sometimes that's extremely important, because the reality is, like I said earlier, is that the main difference between people that do and people that don't is action. There's nothing special about any of us, but you saw that you had a problem, you identified it, You searched for the information to solve your problem. And the crucial thing is you took action. You decided to do something about it, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
then you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, you said that November of 2017, you went to the doctor and you were 402 pounds. And you said you knew that you were waiting to die. And you said you were disappointed because you knew you had done it to yourself. First, I want to talk about the waiting to die feelings and emotions. Take us down that journey of how that felt.
Prior to going to the doctor in 2017, I knew that scale was inching up faster than I wanted to admit. I was tired all the time. I had trouble walking. My clothes didn't fit. I was wearing yoga pants and t-shirts because I just couldn't find anything that fit. And it was kind of a depression that was starting to settle in with me. I was not happy with what I was seeing, but yet at the same time, it was this vicious cycle of, my husband at that time was working evenings, and I found myself ordering a pizza and eating it all by myself. Mm-hmm. I started finding that I was drinking a hell of a lot more than I should have on the daily. Yeah. It was just a pathway that I saw as very destructive. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw the number, there was something about that number of 402 pounds that scared me to death. I don't know if it was that I'm going to end up on my 600-pound life, or, that something about hitting 400, just, my God, that's like 4 mm-hmm. people. It just really hit home for me, and it scared the crap out of me. And I came home, I called my mom, I called my husband on the way home, and I was crying. And it wasn't that I was sad or anything. I was so disappointed with myself mm-hmm. that I had just let it get this bad.
Yeah.
I had essentially just given up.
Yeah. So, what do you say to someone that's dealing with disappointment with their weight loss? Maybe the person's at a standstill and it's not, things are not moving, or they can't seem to stick to something and they're disappointed. How did you deal with your disappointment, and what encouragement would you give to someone else to deal with their disappointment?
My disappointment, I am a personality. I'm so type A. I must take control of every situation. And so my personality just kind of shone through in that I was like, we're doing something about this. And I started looking at different diets. I looked at paleo. I looked at just low carb. I looked at, keto seemed to really be one that resonated with me. Mm-hmm. I have done the whole gym thing before. I had personal trainers before. And so I in that way, I feel like I already knew the routines and stuff to do with the weights and the cardio, but I still started following a lot of different individuals. I think the biggest thing was that I didn't know if I could do this without the surgery. Mm-hmm. And because doctors, they push the surgery on you constantly. You need to do bariatric surgery. You need to cut your stomach in half. I know somebody who completely took their stomach out of the equation. They had it removed. Yeah. I mean, just so that they could lose weight. They were my weight. And now, like, within 6 months, they're like 1 something, but I couldn't in my head, and this is nothing for people who have had the surgery, but in my head, I was like, if you cannot fix it up here, you will never fix it, regardless if you have the surgery. Yeah. And so I just started making a plan. My anger is what kind of motivated me to push myself forward. You know what I'm saying? My anger, my disappointment with myself, my pity party's over. We're going to do something about it right now.
Yeah.
And so you have to get in that action type of mode. You can't you cannot sit and have this pity party for yourself. It does nobody any good.
Yeah. And that is so true, is that as I said in my last interview, is that the large majority of people that do have surgery are not successful. They're not successful long term. And the reason is because they don't get this right. They don't deal with the emotions that are surrounding their food addiction, or whatever maybe we don't even call it a food addiction, but they don't deal with their relationship with food. So I think it's critical is that you deal with all of the emotions that are tied to where you are, and you work on fixing those, and that will lead towards fixing everything else. So if you choose to do it the quote unquote natural way, then you're going to have a much smoother journey. If you choose to go the surgery way, then you're also going to have a much smoother journey. So I'm glad you touched on that, because it's important to deal with that first before you deal with anything else.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I'm not saying, and I don't know if you want to call it a food addiction. It's an addiction, because to this day, I can't be around certain foods and not just argue with myself. There was a time, not very long ago, a couple months ago, I was bringing home, we had a party at work, and it was for Pie Day in March.
Okay.
And brought a couple slices of pie. Thought, I'll bring it for my husband, I'm driving down, and it was a slice of pecan pie, a slice of strawberry pie, a slice of I don't know what pie. The smells were intoxicating my car, and I was at a stop sign, and William, it got to the point where it was like I was shaking, like either I'm going to eat all this pie and shove it in my mouth right now, or I need to get rid of it. I'm not kidding. I opened the window and saw a homeless guy. I was like, you want some pie? And I got rid of it because it overwhelmed me. Like, it was like, I feel like if it was, and I'm not an alcoholic, I don't know, I don't want to make an assumption, but if an alcoholic had a glass of whiskey and it's right in front of them, it's that, do I not? Like, the internal, this fight with yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I don't want anybody to think that I don't cheat, that I don't allow myself to have a slice of pie. It was just at that moment, there was half a pie sitting in my car, and I would have eaten it. So don't put yourself in a situation like that.
And I mean, you got to realize that you're human, and no matter how strong you think you are, the reality is we all have weak moments. Like, I know for me, my weakness is peanut butter. So I got to completely stay away from it. Like, if I'm in this grocery store, I can't even go down the peanut butter aisle, because I know I'm going to buy the biggest jar of peanut butter. It's got to be super extra crunchy. And I am going to eat the whole thing with just me, the jar, and a spoon. So I know myself, and I know I have the all or nothing personality. So it's not going to be just a little bit for me. I'm going to eat all of it. So I just stay away from it. People have to identify with those things and be honest with yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with you admitting that you have weakness in some area, because we all have weakness in some area, right? So just admit it, and that's going to make your journey much easier.
True.
So you said that when people say that they can't get motivated or stay motivated, it's because something has not scared the crap out of them yet. And what we hope to do is prevent and stop people from having to get to that point in order for them to take action. What do you say to someone that is going down that path, that slippery slope? And how do you get them now before they get to that point? Because a lot of times people get to the point where now they're at the doctor, and now they've got diabetes, or they've got heart disease, or they've got something weight related. And now the doctor's like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. This is just where you are now. So how do we save that person?
we have to save that person because they a lot of people think and want to run to the gym and think that's going to be the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is the gym is only what, like exercise is only what, like 20% of the success of a lifestyle change. It's all about your diet, and you've really got to understand what you're putting in your body. I want to say the first thing first, if you're drinking sodas, toss them. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's garbage. Fill and stock. I mean, I feel like this could be the first step is focus on just trying to get in a gallon of water a day, you know? Stop putting all this sweeteners and crap into your coffee, you know, as far as like sugar, and find alternative substitutes, but get some sparkling water to get that soda feel, you know? Just clearing your body out like with water will do so many miracles. I feel like you have to kind of go in these steps, you know? I jumped into the deep end of the pool because I kind of feel like I'd already been in this pool before. So it was a little easier for me, you know, to kind of jump head first. But for somebody who is not used to jumping in, well, let's wade through the shallows first. And so I would start with the waters. I would start with cleaning out sodas, cleaning out sugars, candies, chips, crap. Clean your cupboards, get rid of it. Start really educating yourself on what is in your food, you know? Especially like you look at, you know, yeah, you can get your vegetables and stuff, and vegetables are great, but sometimes people also think, well, but I'm eating fruits, I'm eating oranges, I'm eating bananas, I'm eating, those things are a lot of sugar too, and you've kind of got to understand how your body is processing these certain fruits, and you've got to look at labels and find out what is in my food. And that's I feel like one of the biggest things with trying to really understand what are people putting in your food and how it's being kind of prepared, so to speak. I didn't know how bad canola and vegetable oil were for you, you know, and then you realize, oh my God, essentially I'm kind of just eating plastic.
Yeah.
Kind of scary, you know? So it's really kind of that understanding of your diet and what you're putting in to first kind of tackle before you can even start looking at maybe the exercise part.
Yeah. So Slow Life 101 has a question. She says, Sally, you rock. I'm down 45 pounds in 8 months of keto, no exercise. I've been derailed for a month now. I have so much more to lose, another 150 perhaps. Her question is walking just the best thing to start with? So what do you say to start with exercising?
I believe cardio is definitely the best thing. I'm thinking maybe you might be somewhere near where I am right now. Walking is good. If you can just get 30 minutes of walking, and I'm not talking like, this is slow walking, but an actual kind of brisk pace of walking. If you feel like walking may not be your jive, try biking, try swimming. Swimming is a miraculous, serious exercise. Even if I recently found this out in my aquafit class, which is really, really kind of hardcore. I've been in aquafit classes before, and this one totally tops the cake because they really make you work for an hour. And our coach had told us that 30 minutes in the pool equals 1 hour of hard training of cardio and weights outside in the gym. So, because your body has to work a lot harder. So I would definitely start with the walking, but I encourage you, cardio is so great, and yes, you have to build it up to at least an hour, which is nothing I have done yet as far as, I've gotten up to maybe 45 minutes on the bike. I can do the pool for an hour easy, but I strongly encourage, once you've gotten that hour cardio in, don't neglect the weights. You gotta throw those weights in there. I feel that's how I've lost as many inches as I have. I feel like that's why I'm a size 18 at a 320 at 322.
Hmm.
versus when I was in 2011 at a 300 and still
Hmm.
wearing a 24.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's, that kind of goes to a lot of women, because I know you said you get a lot of DMs from people that are afraid to do weights. And I'm assuming, because I've been in this industry and I know most men are not afraid to do weights, but a lot of women tend to be more fearful of the weights because they have this idea that they're going to get big and bulky and all of that because of weight training. So I guess let's dispel that myth right now. So first off, testosterone is one of the main hormones in the body that cause men to be able to get big muscles. And yes, women have testosterone as well. So women can get bigger muscles. But oftentimes when you see women with a lot of muscle, it's oftentimes you're seeing the absence of fat. So the
Mm-hmm.
muscle is more visible. Doesn't mean that the muscle is bigger, it's just more pronounced because there's no fat surrounding the muscle. So I think people need to understand that muscle is an important component to this whole process. See, the amount of muscle you have on your body helps to regulate your metabolism. And your metabolism, as all of us probably know by now, is the amount of calories we burn. A faster metabolism is better than a slower metabolism. So by adding more muscle, your muscle is burning more fat. So as you said, getting to the weight training is important. Yet, saying all that, some women, and I don't want to single out women, but like I said, I know that more women oftentimes are more fearful of doing weights than men. What do you say to those women to encourage them that weight training is necessary in order for you to get to that next step in your journey?
You are not going to become Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight. I feel like they see China or any of these other women and think that's what's going to happen, and it's totally not. Um, weight training, I love it. I mean, I will sweat harder in my weight training than I do in my cardio.
Yeah.
And so I find it extremely fun, but I find it a necessary evil. I know I have muscle. I can see some of it, but it's hidden under my fat. And what
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping with my weight training is that I see so many people that have done the keto lifestyle and lost all this weight, and then all of a sudden they've got a lot of skin, and then they're starting to do the weight training. What I'm
Yeah.
hoping is with incorporating the weight training and the cardio and the keto lifestyle is that it will tighten up my skin as I'm continuing down the journey, and I won't have this huge issue, because
Yeah.
I get a lot of questions, especially when I, show my arms.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, I get so many DMs, I get so many comments like, are you going to have surgery? Well, that's not my focus right now. My focus is
Yeah.
trying to determine where is the muscle here,
Uh-huh.
not worrying about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I like to kind of think, and of course you're the personal, coach, you're the fitness trainer, but I kind of like to feel like the muscle is eating my fat to a degree. It's helping burn it off consistently throughout the day
Yeah.
versus the cardio where it hits it about one time.
Yeah, and one of the next questions I had, because obviously keto and intermittent fasting and those concepts have played a huge role in your success. So a lot of people, as I said a few moments ago, is that muscle uses fat as an energy source. Okay. And I think especially with keto, people get confused with keto because people think that keto is a low carbohydrate diet. And although part of keto is low carb, the concept of keto is high fat. Now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people think that, okay, if I eat more fat, aren't I going to become or gain more fat? And that just doesn't happen. And I actually have a video on my YouTube channel about intermittent fasting and one of the key things that I do differently to actually make it work a little bit better. So you can go ahead and watch that video after this live. But you have to, and what you're saying is right. Over time, as you build more muscle, everything is going to become more tighter. So we can't tell into the future how much tighter it's going to become, but we do know that it is going to become more tighter while you add more muscle. And the only way that's going to happen is through strength training. Cardio is important, but in terms of what we're talking about, strength training is probably just a little bit more important in the long run than cardio is. So why don't you explain how you've incorporated keto and intermittent fasting in your lifestyle to make it work long term?
So with keto, Mark and I had already, when we started, we had kind of already moved over from breads per se. So when people tell me, oh, but it's so hard to give up the bread, it's really not. But when we started, it really isn't. But when we started, we'd already given up the breads. It was just really discovering. Sometimes I feel like we're discovering new vegetables that we never considered before, like radishes. I never knew radishes could be used as a potato, and now that's something that I make. And just understanding the different substitutes that can happen. With the intermittent fasting, I will not lie, I am new to it per se. I didn't quite understand it until very recently. Because I would do it and I just didn't feel like I was just starving to death, honestly. And I apparently was not in, ketosis, so to speak, or I was not doing it correctly. Until about a couple weeks ago, I started doing unintentionally eating once a day and realizing that I was fasting because I was just drinking water throughout the day. And before I knew it, I was doing like 23-hour fasts. And within that week, I dropped 6 pounds. Now, when I've come back, now that I'm back, I've been doing fasting, and my husband has joined in with me, where basically we stop eating by 7, 8 o'clock, depending when we get home from the gym. We eat dinner. It's usually about 8 o'clock, and then we don't eat again the next day till about him at 11, me at 12. Sometimes I try to push it to 1 or 2 and get some cardio in while I'm still fasting. And I'm definitely seeing the scale drop with it faster. And I guess that's how people were doing it and dropping weight so fast, so to speak. And so now I'm definitely a big advocate. I'm not hungry. I'm not trying to kill anybody, because I'm hungry, but I do feel like if you're not taking in adequate water and making maybe some sort of bulletproof coffee in the morning, it's going to be a little harder for you.
Yeah. And you also said that you've also started to meal prep. Oh, yeah. So what role do you think that has played in your success? And do you think it's important to meal prep?
You got to meal prep, guys. You can't, it's a necessary evil. Because just like that hashtag fail to plan to fail, or whatever it is, you can't. By Saturday at breakfast, Mark and I are already talking about what are we making this week for dinner. And I'm already in my head, what am I making for lunch? And really for us, we're even starting to meal prep our dinners because by the time we get home from the gym, it's like 7:30. So it's kind of late to already start cooking a whole fresh dinner. But if we put stuff away, it's easy to just heat up and eat. And so Sundays are reserved for that. Like Mark will cook off, we'll cook off bacon, we'll cook off our fish, we'll cook off our chicken, vegetables. And I have several pictures in my Instagram, and I'll probably do something tomorrow about it too, because we just loaded up on a bunch of meal prep. I think it's important, though. I see a lot of people that make meal prep and make the same thing for every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried doing that, and it got old really fast.
Yeah.
You know, by like day 3, you're like, I don't want to eat this anymore, you know? So, you know, change it up. You know, I'll do like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll do salmon, and I'll do chicken for maybe Monday, Wednesday, and maybe I'll do some sausage with
Mm-hmm.
a veggie on Friday, you know? It's important to kind of have some kind of interchangeable meals and something that you can easily throw in the oven. It's not as hard as people think. Most of the time, it's everything just goes in the oven. Then you just put it together.
Yeah. I mean, I think for most people, the reason why they don't do it is because they're lazy. Like,
Amen.
you know, my thing is, the way I look at it is, if I could spend, and, you know, you have people that eat to live, and then you have people that live to eat. I'm the type of person that I eat to live. So people think that I don't enjoy food, but I actually do enjoy food, but I enjoy the way I feel, my health, and the way I look more than I enjoy the way food tastes. But for me, I'd rather spend 1 or 2 days a week prepping meals than having to prepare food every day. So what do you say to that person that's like, yeah, you know, meal prepping sounds good, but I just don't think I have time for that.
You got an hour on a Sunday to do it. Everybody has an hour to do it. You know, you can do it watching sports. I mean, honestly, the way I do it, I throw everything in the oven and it cooks for, 40 minutes, and then you plate it. I don't buy it when people say, I just can't do it. And I love them, coworkers that I have this fight with, and they're like, well, but it's, I just can't. No, you can do it. You can totally do it. You've just got to plan and know what you're making. And you don't even have to cook anything. If it's easier for you to go get some lunch meats, some lettuce, some cheese, voila, you've got a wrap. You know, you didn't even have to cook it, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So, no, people just be lazy, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's very easy to do.
It's the reality of it is that there's always time. You can always make the time, but you just got to want it bad enough. And you seem to want it bad enough, and you figured out a way to make it work. Right? So
exactly.
You said you joined the gym, you joined Planet Fitness, and you started working out. What are some of the things that people should be looking out for when joining a gym? Because I'm sure a lot of people that might be watching this may be looking to take that next step into joining a gym. What are some of the key things that you think people need to take into consideration when considering a gym to join?
I think that you really, if you're a beginner, I think Planet Fitness is the perfect gym. Especially because it's got that no contract, no commitment. It's $10 a month. Come on, you're probably spending more on coffee at Starbucks, So it's a good beginner gym. If you want classes, then I would start looking at maybe other gyms that offer that. Maybe the YMCA, maybe, LA Fitness, whatever. If you're somebody who's like, I'm going to hit the weights hard, and maybe you've been at Planet Fitness for a while and you're ready to kind of advance in your strength training, then you're probably going to want to go to gold. I would definitely be wary. And this is why I say Planet Fitness, only because of that no commitment. I don't want you to get yourself attached to a gym that is going to overcharge you. And a mistake that I have made in the past with another gym, which I will not name names, but they suckered me into personal training. Yeah. And I'm not kidding. I think I spent like $2,000 on personal training. There's no need to spend this much on gym personal trainers.
Yeah.
Not to hate on these individuals. I mean, I learned some good stuff, but I learned better from my friends who were actual uh, gym nuts, people that actually were living and breathing the gym. They taught me a lot more than I ever learned from these personal trainers. So
Yeah.
I feel like you do have to be very wary because some of these gyms will pressure you,
Mm-hmm.
the minute you join, or they'll sucker you into it. And you've got to be really careful. I feel like you can find definite help from people out there who are willing to help you and not rob you at the same time.
Mm-hmm. 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 And actually, I have a video on my YouTube channel about the top 3 mistakes people make when they join gyms and how to avoid those. And that's actually part of a lot of what you said is part of in that video in terms of the mistakes. And it's important, the gym life is an important part of most people's journey. But, gyms can be a scary place. And I think a lot of people, when they think of joining a gym, they think of, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to look stupid and everybody's looking at me. What do you say to those people?
Nobody's looking at you, man.
That's
Honestly,
exactly what I say to people.
People are focused. I mean, yeah, sometimes I catch somebody doing an exercise wrong and I want to tell them, but people are so defensive. I just don't.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm in the zone. People are in their zone. What I used to do a lot too, and I still do it while I'm on my cardio machines or whatever, is I watch people. And whether they're men or women, and I watch the exercises they're doing. You don't just watch them. For the most part, people know what they're doing, and you can usually tell a good form from a bad form. It's always about keeping that back straight to keep, if you ever have a question, it's if your back ain't straight, you're gonna jack it up. But I definitely watch a lot of people, and that's how I've gained a lot of, along with my friends who have helped me along the way, gain a lot of insight into how to use it. But start with your cardio first is my biggest thing. The good thing is that Planet Fitness will also give you like one of their personal trainers, which really is just some kid walking you around showing you how to use the machines. And that's not bad. I mean, for the most part, you can use some of these, not necessarily the free weights or the cables, but you can use the machines, the weight machines that show you how to do it right there on the label, and those are good. They're not my favorite per se. I like to do the free weights and the cable weights a lot more, but those are good machines to kind of start out with because they are kind of precursors to what you're going to be doing with free weights.
Yeah. So you said there was a point of time in during your journey where your weight loss wasn't moving, and you said you were frustrated. How did you deal with that frustration, and what would you say to someone that also might be at a standstill? They might be frustrated, and they might be on the brink of giving up. What do you say to that person?
Trust the process. This is something that I know it's a hashtag. It's something that everybody says. If I could sew this on a pillow, I would. It is my mantra. I get frustrated, usually on the daily, I have a squad of friends that will get a text and say, this is my weigh-in this morning. They kind of know Sally's coming into work pissed off or she's coming in a good mood. Yeah. But when I was on that stall for over a month and a half, it was so frustrating. I mean, I was cutting calories. I was tracking everything I ate. And it would not move from 3:30. And so I would literally just sit there and say, trust the process, trust the process. When the scale finally broke and I got into the 20s, I mean, one, I screamed and jumped for joy, but two, the first thing I said was trust the process. Just because you stall does not mean that you just throw it to the wind and I'm done and I don't know what else to do. And you know what? Let's go eat that whole pizza and eat my feelings away. your body, everybody's body is different. You cannot compare your journey to that of anybody else, which I find I used to do a lot. Like, well, why are they losing 100 pounds in 6 months and I'm still at, 80? Everybody's doing it, something different. People's metabolisms are different. Age, I definitely think, plays into it. For women, whether or not your menstrual cycle comes into it. How much water did you drink? I mean, there are so many factors that you cannot beat yourself up. And I need to watch this again if, listen to my own damn advice when I hit another stall, because it will happen. But you can only control your body so much. The rest of it is just trusting the process.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, they give up too soon. They stop just short of getting to where they want to be. And what I tell people is the reality is that in order to start seeing results, you need to be consistently doing something diet and exercise related for a period of it anywhere between 12 to 16 weeks to start to see results. And for most people, that's just not soon enough. So in trusting the process, it's understanding that, maybe the first few weeks, you don't even touch the scale because the most likely it's not going to move as quickly as you want. And I always say it's the whole effort and expectation thing where most people, unfortunately, their efforts and their expectations don't match. It's like they want 100% of the results while only putting in 40% of the effort. Well, there's no way that that's going to happen. If you want 100% of the results, you need to be doing 100+% of the work. And anything less than that is not going to allow you to get to where you want to be. So trusting the process is very important, but also doing the work is the other important part. And you continue through that frustration. You didn't let it get the best of you. And now we're at a point where you're 80+ pounds down and you are well on your way to getting to where you're looking to go. So what else has this weight loss journey motivated you to do in your life?
Recently, we climbed a cliff. There's this cliff in Austin, and we would always pass by it and, see people waving from the top, and it overlooks, the Pennybacker Bridge here in Austin, which is a beautiful sight right over Lake Travis. Okay. And so recently, I think about a month ago, we said, let's do it. Let's see if I can do, and of course, keep in mind, I just had knee surgery like in February. So a month after surgery, which is probably something my doctor would not be happy with, we decided to hike up this cliff. And it was amazing. It was something that I was terrified to do, but it was just this adrenaline rush for me. This satisfaction of accomplishment. And before that, in November, we did a 5K. Okay. We walked it, we sped walk it,
but you did it.
But I did it. We completed it. It was cold and rainy, but we did it. Yeah. And I would have never thought I would have been in a marathon before. Yeah. And it was huge. And the fact that people are so supportive on these marathons. They're cheering you on. The runners. I had a friend of mine that I've known from junior high. She was so excited that I was in it because she's a runner. And she, even after she finished her run, because she did it was a 5K and a 10K. She did the 10K. After she finished, she came running back to me just to help, cheer me on because I was ready. I was so tired. And keep in mind, guys, I had a torn meniscus. I had no business doing this 5K. But yeah, she was like, come on, you can do it. So and it's something that I want to do again. I was so sad when my doctor said, until you have lost a significant amount of weight and gotten knee replacement surgeries, I don't foresee any 5Ks happening anytime soon. Yeah. but I was ready. I was ready to sign up for the Austin Marathon, you know, after that 5K. It's, to me, it was a big accomplishment. It's pushing me outside my comfort zone and doing things more athletic and more challenging for my body than I would have ever thought to do before.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, slow and steady wins the race. You got to your first 5K. There's many more, I'm sure, to come. You will get to those marathons. I'm sure of that. So what final words would you say to someone to keep them motivated or to get them motivated?
Do not trust the scale all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The scale is just a small portion of measurement.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like so many people get thrown off, and I'm totally one of them. You know, this morning I was upset when I got on, and I was like, oh my God, what happened? I know what happened. I ate popcorn last night at the movies. And so, yeah, we saw Avengers. So yeah. But the scale can be very deterring for a lot of people if it's not saying what they want to say, what they want to see. Which is where I wish I had done this from the very beginning. If you are doing this and you're starting or thinking about it, take pictures of your body. Take pictures of your body with, you know, just your sports bra and underwear, or with a pair of pants that don't fit. Take a lot of full body shots before you start. Take your measurements. Have someone measure you, your arms, your neck, your chest, your waist, your hips, your thighs, your calves. I didn't start measuring until halfway through my journey. And so that's where I started, kind of really seeing like, okay, all right, you know, that's definitely not what the scale is telling me, but I'm dropping fat like crazy. Pay attention to your clothing, your sizes, and how they feel. I mean, shirts that were tight on me, you know, 2 months ago are now fitting me super loose, you know. It's just really important, you know, if you want to on the daily jump and beat yourself up on the scale like I do, then by all means go ahead. But if you can put it away and do yourself a favor and weigh maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, that'd be my recommendation. Just don't depend so much on that scale. It can be a great device, but it can also be the ending for you if you pay too much attention to it.
Guys, the scale is a liar, and you heard it here first. Sally, thank you so much for being on this episode of Weight Loss Warriors. I know that you have inspired a lot of people on your journey prior to this live, but I know you're going to continue to inspire people going forward. And I know people are going to have questions for you. So go ahead and give everybody your Instagram so they can reach out to you directly.
You can find me at Sally is Keto AF.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also put a link to Sally's Instagram on the YouTube video when I upload it. So remember, guys, that all of these videos, all of these episodes of Weight Loss Warriors will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you've missed any of them and you'd like to go back and watch, head over to youtube.com/fitness motivation, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2. That's fitness motivation 4u2. Sally, thank you so much. Again, I really enjoyed this episode. Guys, we're going to get on out of here. But, you know, if you need anything, like I said, you can reach out to Sally, hit her on her Instagram. I'm sure she's going to be there to answer any questions. And like I said, if you have a weight loss story that you'd like to share and you'd like to do it here on Weight Loss Warriors on one of my future episodes, If you're watching this live, go ahead and DM me and we'll talk. But if you're watching this on the rebroadcast, down below in the description on the YouTube video, there's going to be a link where you can reach out to me. And let's get you on one of the future episodes of Weight Loss Warriors. Last but not least, if you're starting a journey and you don't know where to start, or you're in a journey and you're hitting a plateau or you're at a plateau, I would love to be your coach. So I'm going to give you a free 30 days to my online fitness and nutritional coaching program. There you will be able, or I will, create your workout. I'm going to teach you how to eat, and I'm going to hold you accountable for doing what's necessary so that we can get you in the best shape of your life. So with that being said, this is Mr. Fitness, the body transformation specialist, and Sally signing off. And as always, where there's a will, there's a way. And I hope you have a fantastically awesome day. Till next time.